Hey guys, it's Greg. We're by the Bootstraps, b2bootstraps.com. Check out the store, check out social media. Today, well actually yesterday, the new trailer for Star Wars, The Rise of the Skywalker came out. And I haven't really made any comments or any videos about Star Wars stuff because typically my channel doesn't focus on this stuff, but I have done some like movie reviews and like trailer reviews. And I felt compelled to write, to do a video on this one. Reason why is because I watched the trailer. I love how they're trying to distinguish these new set of movies, this new trilogy as being its own thing, and yet The Force Awakens comes out as basically A New Hope with prettier graphics, and then the introduction of this godlike angelic creature Rey, who is beyond powerful, and we haven't gotten a full-fledged backstory to indicate how she got this way, why is she capable of doing these things, or anything like that. I mean, we got a Darth Vader knockoff. They brought back some of the old favorites. Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, and like I'm a fan of Star Wars. I enjoy the original trilogy quite a bit. I like the prequels to a point. There are a lot of spots in the prequels that I think the writing is just horrendous. And then we get like these new movies where J.J. Abrams directed the first one, and yeah, it was fun and it was entertaining. But they didn't break new ground. I mean, it's basically we got the plot of A New Hope all over again, and the inconsistencies of the writing and why they were doing things, leads questions to wondering what's going on. But I was like, hey, I'll stick it out. We'll see. Then they had the Last Jedi, which of all the Star Wars movies that I've seen, and admittedly I have not seen the Han Solo standalone film. But everything else I've seen, Rogue One and pretty much all of that, and I enjoyed, for the most part, all of them as a form of entertainment. I wouldn't say they're all great. They're enjoyable. They're fun. They're like summer blockbuster movies. I know some people think that the original three are like the best three movies ever created, and that's cool. That's wonderful. I think they're entertaining. I mean, I own them on Blu-ray, but I've seen all of them except for the Han Solo story, and I have to say that The Last Jedi, even though it looks fantastic, it sounds fantastic, it's one of the worst written movies that I've ever seen. And quite frankly, it's actually one of the movies that I barely finished. I went and took my daughter to it, and I walked away just completely like uninterested in Star Wars. And it's like, if this is what they're going to be putting out, then I'm just not interested. Admittedly, I don't like Rey. That's really what it comes down to, a lot of it. And I don't like, Kylo Ren. I think he's an insufferable child who throws temper tantrums. The Rey character is way too strong to have no training. We're two movies into a three-part trilogy, and we really haven't discussed how she's gotten these abilities. How can she fly a plane, a space plane, the Millennium Falcon, better than the guy who owned the plane, when she's never been in the plane per se. How does she do some of the things that she does, and it's never explained. It's just kind of like you just are capable of doing this stuff. So there's no like character development for me to be interested in. They showed at least that Luke went through this process of learning, and he trained, and then there are several years in between the second and third movie where he would have perfected his craft. Well, here, between The Force Awakenings and The Last Jedi, it's like a matter of days, and yet she can do things and have abilities and compete with people on a level that should be far beyond her expectations, and yet they don't explain that in the movies. And so for me, I just don't have an interest in it. And I love how they're trying to separate themselves from the original trilogy, but yet they start this trailer off with showing nothing but original trilogy shots for the first, I think it's like the first like 30, 40 seconds, maybe a minute. Then you start getting into some new footage, but it just kind of goes back to like the rehashing of the old material. I don't know how they're going to pull it together, but in the first teaser trailer that they showed, they had that line that no one's truly gone, we've given you everything you need. And then they pan out and show the Death Star, and it's like, really, it's gonna be in yet another movie. This will be the third time, fourth if you count the Death Planet, and the Emperor, the laughing. I mean, that was kind of interesting, but at the same time, it's okay. Is anyone really dead in this series? Can people just keep coming back? And I haven't seen anyone discuss it, but I swear that in this trailer, it starts off with Mark Hamill talking, Luke Skywalker, and then by the end of the trailer, it sounds like it's the Emperor talking. At least that's how I perceived it. I could have been wrong by that, but that's how it's perceived. And if that's the case, it's like, okay, why are we rehashing, old characters that were established to be dead? I would have loved to have seen more about Snoke. Where did he come from? How did he get the scars? How did he become such a powerful user of the Force, where he was manipulating objects and supposedly could read the minds of the people, and he was just so he was so powerful, but yet we get nothing from him. He was like this big bad villain from the first, from the Force Awakens, to being kind of like a slapstick humor in The Last Jedi. So it's kind of like interesting to me that these movies aren't doing anything like to kind of pull you in to make you more interested. The one scene at the end that everyone's all like, oh my God, I can't believe it, Rey's going to go to the dark side. Does anyone really believe that? I mean, does anyone really think that they're going to take their angelic, precious Rey and actually make her a villain? If anything, it's going to be some kind of vision, or it's going to be some kind of like possession or something like that. But it's not going to be her willfully being a dark side. They've already established that she's godlike among men already. She's able to do things that other characters who've actually trained to do can't do. So all of a sudden now they're going to be tempted with the dark side, and it's going to be such a hard turn in this film series to that it's going to be one of those like leaps of faith that I don't think a lot of people are going to be able to jump on board. I thought that when Anakin went to Darth Vader, the change in that was so not subtle that they didn't leave breadcrumbs really along the series to show, hey, this guy's going to be one of the biggest baddies in the universe. It just goes from one day he's perfectly fine to the next he's Vader. It was such a sharp, jarring, transition that it did. For me, it's like, okay, whatever. And then here with Rey, if they do the same thing, it's not going to make any sense. Well, it's just, for me, it's not going to be interesting, honestly, because you got a character with no development really, who is beyond better than everyone, and now you're going to throw in like that, like, aha, here's here's that, here's the twist that you didn't expect. I don't know. I'll go see the movie. I really thoroughly couldn't stand the last one, but I'm willing to give this one a chance because I know maybe there's some redeeming qualities to this. I don't, but I don't like the way they treated the characters in the old, from the old series, in this one. I don't care for, Rey. I don't even like Finn, in these series either. He's kind of the bumbling idiot, the comic relief, where he could have been so much more interesting considering the backstory. But, the original Star Wars was written at least a lot better story-wise, and things happen for a reason, where here it's just kind of, it seems like a lot of it's just slapstick humor. Anyway, if you guys watched the trailer, which I'm sure most of you guys did because it is all over the internet, comment below and let me know what you guys think about it. I'll talk to you later.